Ho- Hello and welcome to episode 11 of the Before the Buzzer podcast. Boys, day one of the playoffs in the books. A lot to talk about, tier list to talk about, predictions to give out. But it's this beautiful Sunday morning, and we have a special guest today. My brother, Casey, is here. Casey, why don't you introduce yourself and let the know who you are and who you're rooting for today.
What's up, everyone? My name's Casey. I'm Adam's brother. I know all these dudes from high school. Today, big Clippers fan. And our championship run starts today.
Run. All right, Chris, how you feeling after day one of the playoffs?
It was a good day of basketball. Yeah, it's episode 10 curse is real. A lot of shit happened in real life, but hey, we're here and let's get it over with. And yeah, exciting day of playoffs ahead of us as well too. So yeah, how we doing, Cheyenne?
Pretty good. Really good first
How
day.
were
Wish some of the results were better, but
Yeah, Denver
you know
cheered
what?
me up.
It's
Yeah.
only the beginning of the
Only
series.
one.
Still got time. I still believe Lakers in 6.
All right, well, that brings us to something over the weekend that I posted on the Instagram. If you're not following the Before the Buzzer Instagram, what are you doing? Go drop a follow on the Instagram. But I posted a tier list of my NBA playoff tiers. Pritch, you don't have to pull it up. I'm gonna share my screen and pull it up here
Okay.
for the.
I was just getting it ready to seconds.
All right.
Make sure I didn't have anything forgotten about.
So here is my NBA playoffs tier list. By the way, note that this was made before the first game of round one, so I'm not cheating here. This was released before the playoffs started. I guess I released it midway between the Cavs and Magic game. Who cares about that? But anyways, let's get to the tiers, boys. Sure, a lot of you guys have seen it. Let me just share my screen here, and we will get into the tiers. All right. Here are the tiers, boys.
Look at that. Okay.
Is it showing up for you guys? All good?
Yeah, we see it. Let's go.
All right,
Who
let
wants
me
to
go
first?
through. Let me go through.
All right.
No. I'll go through each tier. We can comment on each tier. All right. Starting off, 1, 2, 3, Cancun. This one's pretty self-explanatory. I don't think these teams are getting out of round one. You got Miami here. Tough matchup with Boston. Jimmy's hurt. They don't have much of a chance. New Orleans, kind of just happy to be there. Zion, injury question marks there. As much as I'm not a big fan of OKC, I think they take care of New Orleans in round one. And then the Magic, I honestly don't know how they finish as the 5 seed. Their offense might be one of the worst in the league, but, they play defense, so there's that. But I don't think they're getting by Cleveland in round one. Any complaints about the first tier?
Overall, it's fine, but I personally had the Magic higher just because I think they match up really well to Cleveland, and Cleveland has been they're a very weird team where they don't really perform when they have all their guys together. And when they have Mobley, I'd move them to a fun regular season. I'd move Magic to just up a tier and then leave Cleveland in the same tier. Personally, I think the Magic are going to beat the Cleveland because I watched the game yesterday, and although the offense was ass, I just feel like in a series Orlando is tougher, and I think they're going to get it. But that's probably going to change, honestly. It's toss up. It's going to 7.
It's hard. It's hard for me to see when a team struggles that much offensively and is that young going against a team that I feel like has established players that have been there before.
Have they? Last year they got destroyed by the Knicks.
Well,
The lights are too bright for Jared Allen.
I'm saying,
yeah, exactly.
I'm saying they have players that have experience in the playoffs. Their best player, Donovan Mitchell, has had extensive period experience in the playoffs. I trust him more in a game 7 than I do Apollo Banchero, who this is his first time really being on a big stage like this. So I guess you could categorize the Magic as having a fun regular season, but I think they're headed up. All right. This is one that really riled people up. The fun regular season. All right. Got 4 teams in this tier. I think that Indiana is probably the one that upsets the least amount of people. Although this tier doesn't indicate that you're going to lose round 1. This tier just indicates that you're maxed out at round 2. So I actually think Indiana, depending on Giannis's health, might actually have a chance to knock off the Bucks there in that first series. We'll see today how it pans out for them if the Bucks can hang on with, a lineup of Damian Lillard trying to carry the load. But I think the Pacers actually could win in round one, but I don't see any world where they're knocking off a New York or a Philly team in round two. Any thoughts on Indiana and their chances in the first round and then going forward?
That's fair.
Yeah,
I mean, I think
Yeah, that's pretty fair.
Yeah,
I
go
don't really see them going that far. I mean,
I think Indiana, like, if they go to the second round, that's a great season. You know what I mean? Like, considering Halliburton struggles and is in kind of like nagging injuries, and the Siakam trade. Like, last year, what they were they missed a play-in, right? So this is a good step for them. So yeah, I think it's fair. But a second round and beating Giannis would be
I think
pretty
the future.
impressive.
The future's bright for them. I think they might have drawn a good, 3 seed here because of Giannis's injury. We'll get to that later, but I don't think they have any chance in the second round. And then let's move to another team I don't think has a chance in the second round, Cleveland. I mean, is anyone going to beat Boston in the East? Do we realistically think anyone can beat Boston in the East? I don't know, but I don't think Cleveland will be the team to do it. Boston just has too much talent. They're as hungry as ever. I think they take care of business early against Miami and then Cleveland here in the first 2 rounds. Any thoughts on the Cavs? Pritch, start with you.
Yeah, I agree completely. Like, I just don't see them beating Boston under any circumstances. Same with Orlando if they beat Cleveland. Boston, if they don't get to the conference finals at least, that's bad for them. So yeah, I completely agree. It's good. I mean, not even a fun regular season for them. They're kind of disappointed in there. But
I mean, there was a while
they had
where
a
they
good
were
regular season
Yeah.
up until the last month when
and
Donovan
the
Mitchell
thing is, the
got
roster,
hurt.
like, it just doesn't work. Like, when they're all together, it's very discombobulated. Like, I think it was Mobley was out, and then you had Mitchell and Allen together, and they were like insane, right?
Yeah.
Like that's when they were at their best. When they had kind of less pieces, it was more of a natural fit. Like, you had you had more spacing and stuff like that without Mobley.
Don't disrespect Evan Mobley, my friend.
No, I like Mobley. I'm just saying he just doesn't fit well with Allen and vice versa. You know what I mean? And it kind of that translates to the rest of the roster.
all right.
But yeah,
I mean, Cleveland, we all agree.
Cleveland
doesn't have a chance.
not much fun to talk about. Cleveland.
Time for the controversial teams. Here we go. You guys want to start with KC or Minnesota first?
Let's see Minnesota first.
Yeah.
All right, Minnesota. So we saw them yesterday. Looked pretty good.
Very
Anthony
good.
Edwards.
They blew out the
Anthony
Suns.
Edwards.
Yeah.
A moment yesterday where the crowd was, chanting MVP in his post game. Cool to see. Really feels like he's starting to elevate himself into one of the premier players in the league if he already wasn't that. But I don't see a world where Minnesota can get by the teams that I have in tier 2. I think that they had a regular season, but I don't know if I can trust Anthony Edwards enough to be the best player on the floor in a series where he's playing Kevin Durant and the Phoenix Suns. I actually still like Phoenix in 7. I think that Phoenix is a very good team. I think they have the capability when they put it all together to make a run. Because we've seen what they've done when all 3 superstars have been healthy for them. They've been one of the hottest teams in the NBA. And, yesterday got away from them a little bit. Kevin Durant showed up. Beal and Booker didn't do much. They're certainly going to need those guys to start showing up. But given his playoff history, I trust Devin Booker to start showing up again. And I still think Phoenix wins this series in 7. So I have Minnesota capped out at a round 2 exit. Any thoughts on how I have the Timberwolves? Casey, we'll start with
first.
you.
Okay. Casey, go first.
I mean,
I've never
to be
heard you
fair,
guys-
like, it's not like Anthony Edwards has to do everything. They do have Karl-Anthony Towns. They do have Rudy Gobert. They probably have the 6th man of the year, Naz Reid. They have veteran presence, Mike Conley. I mean, as Anthony Edwards said, they have KD, but we got JD McDaniels.
I do get that, but I feel like the margin for this series is going to be so close that I feel like in a game 7, I trust Kevin Durant and Devin Booker to kind of take the game over to where.
I mean, past those
it's
3
over
guys with
Minnesota.
Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, I mean, they need better play. I mean, Nurkic can't be getting 4 rebounds. That stuff just can't happen. You need Eric Gordon to shoot. You
I
need
get
Grayson
it. I
Allen
mean,
to play better.
obviously, no one's saying that Minnesota isn't going to outsize Phoenix. That's the one area where they have a mismatch of they're so much bigger than Phoenix because of the centers that they have on the roster, and Phoenix really only has Nurkic.
I mean,
But
also like KD's gonna be guarding big
can't
man
pick.
the whole series. Like
Yeah.
KD's gonna get
I
worn
can't.
down, but he's guarding like, you know what I
It's
mean?
hard for
Because
me to pick against a Kevin Durant team with Bradley
that's
Beal,
fair.
Devin Booker, especially given how they ended the season when all three of them were healthy and the hot streak that they're on right now. I think they just have to win one in Minnesota. Might have to be Game 7, but I think they can get one in Minnesota. Cheyenne, any thoughts?
Yeah,
Timberwolves right
I'm pretty cool with this ranking, honestly, Adam. Like, I don't see them going past the first or second round because, like you said, I don't think they could really match the offensive output that Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, and the Suns could provide. Because everything went pretty well for them. They got a bunch of second chance points. Nikhil Alexander Walker played well. Nas Reed played well. Cat played well. Like everyone played like the best they could have probably like played, which is good for them. But I don't know how often they could like repeat this performance.
I mean, they're the 3rd seed. I mean, they're the 1 seed basically the whole year. Like they have been doing this all year. You know what I mean? Like, see, personally, I don't think it's fair to put them in that tier because I think they beat the fuck out of the Lakers. I don't see this as an argument in my
I
opinion.
don't think they would though.
Like,
Well, I mean,
take
we'll get
take
to
away
that,
the fact
but-
that you're a big fan, and let's like look at this practically. Look at this from like a basketball
Well,
standpoint.
I'm looking at it from the fact that
Who's guarding
even
us?
though Minnesota's 3-1 against the Lakers, but when LeBron plays, they're 1-1 so far this
Yeah,
season.
but also
I
look at the
haven't
matchup, right? Out of all
What?
the teams that are a weird match, Lakers thrive on like having. Okay, we can save the Lakers talk for a bit, but I'm saying from a Minnesota perspective, I don't think it's fair to cap them out at a second round exit when they have a great defense. They have legitimate like top 10-ish player who could ascend to that top 10 level like throughout the postseason, right? I think it's fair to say. They have a really good supporting cast around them,
Yeah.
as we saw yesterday. They have the ability to blow out teams
Yeah.
and just clamp them up, as we saw yesterday, right? Especially a team that they've struggled against all regular season too. So people, that's a part of it as well. Like you see the toughness that they have, despite having Rudy Gobert and Cat. Like there is some toughness on this team, and
Despite having Rudy Gobert,
yeah, despite the French curse, like it's not too bad. But like you have overall, personally, I just feel like you're underestimating how good this team can be and how good they've been the whole year. Teams are a 3 seed for the reason, or I mean, pretty much they were a game off the 1 seed, right? Like they've been elite the whole season, and you have to give them some kind of credit. Even though I get it in close game situations, it's not a great matchup. But if they can keep guarding and defending the Suns
Alex,
like they have
can you see them
Sorry?
winning a championship? Can you see? Is there any scenario where they
I
win
don't
a
see them
championship?
beating Boston. I see them. I don't think they win the whole thing just because I don't trust them for
Well,
4 rounds.
Do you think they have a chance of getting past Denver if they were to play Denver in the next round?
I think it depends. I think it's like I think out of all the teams in the West, they probably match up the best to Denver. Just because of
Because
the size.
I feel like
but-
a lot of these teams, you're just mad because I put the Lakers above them. So take the
I'm
Lakers out of it.
personally, I put them in contenders. I think they're a contender. I think they're more of a contender than like the Knicks are personally, or like the Suns.
Really?
I think personally they're more of a contender than the
I just
Suns.
feel like
I'll say
that road is so much harder, and I can't pick them over any of the teams.
So is
on
it for
that
the
road.
Suns? It's the same thing for the
Well,
Suns. Personally, I think they're in a better position than the
I
Suns.
picked
in my opinion.
I picked Phoenix in 7. So I mean that's just my pick.
I get it. They could both be there.
That's
I mean,
my opinion.
like personally, I would just have them in contenders just because they've proven it the whole season. I don't think it's same with OKC as well, which we'll get to in a second. But I don't think it's. I just
All right,
feel
let's-
like, yeah, we'll go to OKC. We'll go to OKC.
let's go
yeah,
to OKC.
explain the
All right.
OKC shit and like
The Thunder,
let-
the number one seed this season in the West. By the way, OKC, congrats to them. They had a fun regular season. That's why they're in this tier. They worked themselves up to the 1 seed at the end. They didn't choke like Denver, and they took care of business. But when I look at this Thunder team, I see a team that has depth, that has an established superstar in this league. But I also see a team that's kind of young, that in a series against, the Clippers or the Mavericks, I don't know if Shai Gilgeous-Alexander would be the best player on the floor. I don't think he would. I would rather have Luka Doncic or rather have a healthy Kawhi Leonard. We have to still see about Kawhi's health. I would rather have those guys over Shea. And I know Shea has had a tremendous regular season, an MVP candidate type of regular season. But are you really going to sit up here and tell me that you trust this young Thunder team to go out and take care of business and make the Western Conference Finals? I can't
Yes.
see it. I'd pick the Mavericks and the Clippers over them.
Well, okay, I understand what you're saying.
I think they get by New Orleans, but I trust the Clippers and the Mavericks more than OKC.
I get that.
Alex,
I
I know you have
understand.
a lot of thoughts on OKC.
Yeah. So personally, I don't think you can watch the OKC Thunder this year and like legitimately think this. If you see like how deep they are, how many like legitimate players they have, how many.
Oh no, I
get it. If it's
they're a deep, appreciated, talented team.
Yeah, I mean the thing too, right, is that suppose they're against Denver in the second round, and they're just physically outmanned. Like the problem with the teams, like if they're playing the Mavericks or playing the Clippers, is that they're not going to give up the same physicality inside. They're not having to deal with and that's the biggest flaw they have on their team right now is that it's just Chet, and Chet's being kind of asked to guard everything physically and deal with all the big fat centers. You know what I mean? But the thing is, I feel they match up really well to Dallas and the Clippers. And the Clippers, we're saying we're trusting them in a playoff series and their experience. I mean, James Harden's kind of a choker in these things. He struggles.
Oh.
And then you have Paul George, who's had his problems in the playoffs before, notoriously. Even though he has over his career, he's being solid. And then you have Kawhi, who he could get hurt any second, right? I don't think it's fair to necessarily count the Clippers Thunders out before the series even potentially happens. And then for the Mavericks, I think Shea is good enough where I think he can play any player equally on the court. Where there isn't a big discrepancy in who's the best player because he's so consistent and he's always playing at he's been playing such a high level. I don't think it's fair to say that he's like not the best player on the court because sometimes he will be. You know what I mean? And like against Dallas, I think they match up well, and I think it really depends on Dallas's like role players if they can. Who's the better role player?
Dallas's role players have played well as of late.
It's a role player off. I mean, personally, I just think we're going to see Jalen Williams have a great playoffs. I'm a really big fan of him, and I think he's going to go crazy. I think put Lou Dort on Kyrie or put Lou Dort on like Luka, and they have people who can guard. The great players. They have shooting. They have really great depth, and sometimes the youth is a positive where it gives you this sense of, energy that maybe an experienced team like the Clippers just won't have, right? This youthful, and also the tomfoolery. Like, are we forgetting the tomfoolery and the power of friendship with the Thunder? I mean, that's part of it too. We can't forget that.
I can't see it with OKC.
Adam, I'm not mad at where you put.
OKC,
I'm not mad where you put the Thunder because, like you, I don't really see them beating a Clippers team with a healthy Kawhi or the Dallas Mavericks because I just think like no one on their roster has like any playoff experience, and I think that's just really important, especially this year because every team is really good this year. So I think it matters a lot. And the Clippers, obviously, they have tons of experience. Kawhi, one of the greatest like playoff risers ever. Paul George, he's had his downs in the playoffs, but he's also had really high ups in the playoffs, taking them to like the conference finals one year. And James Harden, but I don't think they need to rely on James Harden to like be Houston James Harden, where he needs to put up like 20 shots to get like 20 points or something. He just needs to be like a facilitator for them and just like take favorable matchups when needed. And Russ brings great energy off the bench, and along with the Mavericks, Luka's been in the playoffs a couple times. Statistically, one of the greatest playoff performers of all time. And we know what Kyrie could do in the playoffs, hit the biggest shot in finals history. And now the Mavs are supported with like really good pieces around them. And some of the Mavs squad has playoff experience, like Tim Hardaway Jr., who could get hot in an instant. And I just don't think the Thunder can really deal with both these teams.
I do think also that I think in the Clippers series, the Zubac plays off the floor just because it just is a really bad matchup for the Clippers. And then in that sense, I think the Clippers get destroying the boards, which seems counterintuitive against an OKC team. But like it's a bad matchup for Zubac, and I don't think he's. I mean, it's overall just a bad matchup for the Clippers. I just think the Clippers they just reek of this like old team that's kind of they're in a bad. That they
It's
just
not
seem
like
they've been playing badly
I
recently.
want to hear the
I don't
Clippers
think
fan
they're
talk
that
about
bad. I don't
this.
think-
There we go. Let's get to the injuries
Yeah.
here. Let's start with the
No,
Clippers.
let Casey go. Let Casey go.
Okay,
I
so
know,
you should
I'm
be
saying.
contenders, but yeah, go
Casey-
ahead.
Okay. Injuries here now. The Clippers here in the injuries here because of Kawhi Leonard's injury. Casey, Clippers start their playoff run today. How are you feeling about the state of the team, especially with Kawhi's injury, and how they're looking with him on the floor, and then how you project they can do without him on the floor? Can they hold up in the time that he's not there?
I mean, I don't think you could win a 7-game series without Kawhi at all. I mean, it is kind of frustrating. Like every single year, you have to deal with this every single time. You got to hear Paul George is out, Kawhi is out. You got to deal with this every single year. But I mean, it's not like I don't think the Clippers can really like I don't know how to say it, but like a few years ago, when they made that Western Conference Finals run, they didn't even have Kawhi. That was when they played Rudy Gobert, Donovan Mitchell, all those guys. They have a deep team too. It's not like depth is a problem with it. They got guys off the bench like Russell Westbrook, Norman Powell, Bones Highland, who dropped like 37 on your contender.
Okay,
Suns.
let's chill with
Amir
Bones Highland. I don't
Coffey.
think Bones Highland.
Amir
is gonna
Coffey.
be good, but
I don't
yeah.
even think Bones Highland is playing, but it's just the fact
Yeah.
that if someone goes down, they have another guy to pick them up. They have 3 caliber playoff centers with Zubac, Plumlee, and Tice. They have a lot
Yeah,
of depth.
all
on
very
their team.
similar and all like to get played off the floor. You know, maybe not Tice, but Tice is like 6'8".
He's not that tall, but you get James Harden in those pick and rolls. You get Westbrook off the bench. I mean, I don't think scoring is necessarily going to be a problem. You got Norman Powell too.
Well, scoring's never been a problem with them.
You even have PJ Tucker. Like, if you've been watching,
No,
the
okay,
Clippers,
no. 0
he's-
point a game merchant, bro.
Okay, but you put him against you. If you watch the game when he played Jokic, he was actually like playing good defense against him. You could put him on one of your best players, and he can lock him up.
And then do nothing on offense. Yeah,
You
but
don't need him for offense.
He doesn't need to be good on offense. He could just
he
shoot
couldn't
corner
shoot
threes all
anymore.
day.
He was able to shoot a bit when he was like
He's a
when
corner
younger,
three
but I couldn't even shoot.
Adam
Like,
knows. He used to play me in 2K with PJ Tucker.
Yeah, he's good in 2K. Yeah, don't get me wrong. But
All right,
Look,
so Casey, what's the cap for the Clippers then this season? Is it a championship? Is it a Western Conference Finals?
I think no matter what, I mean, their goal is a championship. There's no really like
Is it championship or bust in your mind for
100%.
everyone?
yeah, it's a
I mean,
goal, but like, are they actually gonna do it?
100% their goal is to win a championship. I mean, everyone's goal is to win a championship, but
Casey, do you think if Kawhi misses at least 2 games, they could beat the Mavs?
I think they could win at least one against the Mavs without Kawhi. I mean,
Without Kawhi.
to be fair, like James Harden's still James Harden in some sort of way. Paul George is still Paul George. You still have guys like Westbrook, like I said. And you have Terrence Mann too, who's a good defender. Could kind of do it all. So yeah, I would say that.
You're a very
definitely,
insightful young man.
they're definitely a
He's so
champion.
wise.
They're definitely they have to. It's pretty much like set in stone that they have to win a championship this year because their future is really unknown. You don't know what Paul George is going to do this offseason. You don't know what the future of Kawhi is going to be. You don't know like how many more years this team really has to get to that championship level.
Within the arena too, you're gonna need to have success right away. So yeah,
I
it's
mean, this
could
really affect the trajectory of the organization and how they move forward this offseason.
I mean, I don't even know when the next first round pick is. It's really unknown. I mean, we don't know. I don't know about the cap space and stuff like that. We're not. I mean, I don't think any Clippers fans are really looking into that right now. They're just looking into the playoffs.
2030.
So
2030 draft pick.
exactly. So they're kind of cooked right now if they don't win a championship.
That's crazy.
All right, well,
2030.
Let's move on to the other 2 teams in the injury tier. Kind of similar here. They're superstars both, with lingering injuries. 76ers obviously played yesterday. I thought they looked really good in the minutes where Embiid was on the floor in the first quarter, winning for most of it. I think they were winning the whole first quarter. Then the Knicks kind of fought their way back in the second quarter, took the lead back, and Embiid went down. It was a scary sight. I don't know what they do with Embiid going forward if they kind of mail it in and rest him and avoid further injury. If they push it, I'm sure he wants to be on the floor, but I think the 76ers team with a healthy Embiid is a contender. Without a healthy Embiid, their season's over, So
Yeah.
I don't think they're beating New York in a series. From what I saw from Embiid's injuries, he didn't look the same after he came out of the game and came back in. But I don't think they have much of a chance. Anyone think that they can contend with New York in this first round, or do we all agree that kind
I
of
agree.
point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair.
New York got
Good
this.
analysis.
I also think Philly should just shut Embiid down. Like it seems like every game or every 2 games, like there's always like a big scare with him.
Yeah,
And
he's
like
moving weirdly. Yeah.
yeah, I feel like Philly just shouldn't risk like his health anymore for like because either way we probably won't pick them over Boston or like we're not even this
Well,
series
the
maybe.
appeal is they could make a run to the Eastern Conference Finals because they're on the opposite end of Boston. They would hope that someone would knock them off, but I think it's hard to sit your superstar down like that and kind of give up on
No,
the year.
because the thing is,
Yeah,
if he was
and-
playing and moving like he was fully healthy, go for it. Don't play like even after that big injury. But the fact that like we've seen him a couple times already, like I don't if it's not the same injury, but like get like other injuries like pretty often, pretty commonly since he came back. I think like it's like way too big of a risk because like the
No,
East
I
isn't
agree.
going anywhere. Like unless like they're
I
probably not
might.
gonna get someone crazy like in the like Kevin Durant's not going to come to the Eastern Conference next year where like oh it's going to get dramatically better. So it'll still like pretty much be the same teams in the East. It won't be like
I
too
get
difficult. Just worry about the same like Boston, Milwaukee or these same teams. So I just think like the Knicks they're too physical of a team also. And I feel like they're just gonna wear Embiid down, and you just don't want to risk his health.
Yeah, and then moving on to the Bucks here, they're kind of in a similar spot to the Clippers where their superstars injured. A lot of unknowns here with Milwaukee. Once again, I think if Giannis is healthy, they have the ability to be a contender. But without him, obviously, they're probably a first-round exit, even to Indiana. So tough to gauge here with Milwaukee. A lot of timetable stuff too, with Giannis being out like 2 to 4 weeks. No one really knows what's going on here, and a calf injury too, which can be kind of tricky, especially for basketball players. So, Alex, what do you make of Milwaukee and their chances going forward here with a kind of
Yeah.
hampered?
I think it's the right tier. I think ever since they got Doc Rivers, they've been a bit of a shit show, like on both ends. I'm not a big fan of this team, like how they constructed. I think they're too old. They haven't got the same. They just don't look right to me, and the whole season hasn't felt right. That was confirmed after the coach got fired, and then you bring in Doc Rivers, who's notorious for like struggling in playoff series. So like, it's a weird season for sure. I think they really need to beat Indiana just because like you can't lose to Indiana in the first round. But yeah, I don't see them again. I mean, they could get a run to the conference finals just based off of like because the Knicks are a bit banged up as well. Like maybe you could catch the Knicks on a good day, but or even the Sixers. But like, yeah, they just have no chance, in my opinion, of beating Boston. I just think Boston's too good, even though they will have the best player on the court at times. I just think Boston's on a whole other level. So yeah, injuries is the fair tier. I agree.
Yeah. All right, moving on to contenders here. We've kind of already talked about all these teams so far, but is there anyone that you would take out of the contenders here? I think all of these teams can not only make the Western Conference Finals, but even challenge Denver or the Lakers and make a run at the championship here. I think Dallas is really good. I think that their side of the bracket.
What's the difference between escaping round one and contenders?
I'll explain that, but I think
explain now.
contenders are teams.
It's like you could say the same thing about the Mavericks and Clippers.
Yeah.
Or even the Heat or something. Like, if you beat the Celtics, you're gonna go to the finals. Like,
No, I think these teams have a legitimate shot of beating any of the top 3 teams. I think they
why are
have
they
a
not the same
legit.
tier? Okay.
I don't think anyone below them has a legit shot of.
But like it also like kind of like to me feels weird. Like, dude, one of like your top 3 teams is basically like bound to lose in the first round.
Oh
Well, I'll
God.
explain escape round one. But and starting with the contenders, is there anyone that you would take out of the contenders here?
Phoenix.
Yeah, Phoenix.
Okay.
I think it's Phoenix. I
I
think
don't really
we're
see the Knicks
they're
really.
almost a playing team. Like,
Like,
yeah, Knicks is
I don't
a
see
weird
them
one
really going
because
to
like,
the. I really don't see them going to the finals.
if
I don't know
think
how
there's a
much.
team that beat Boston, it's the Knicks. Just because
Not
of the
only
toughness
like
they
based
have.
off talent, it's just like the wear and tear Tom Thibodeau puts in his players. Like I don't know if he
I
can play
get that,
46
but I
minutes
think
on
that
every game.
we've mentioned their depth before. Will Thibodeau be willing to play that depth? I saw in the first game he was a little bit more willing than in past years, and I just don't see another team in the East really contending with Boston. I think they're the biggest competitors, and therefore I have them in the East Conference Finals. So, in my opinion, they have to be the contenders to Boston because they're really that has they're the only team that has a chance of beating them in the East, in my opinion.
I agree with that.
I guess you can say
Yeah,
that.
I think it's fair. I just think, I think it's fair. But personally, I have the Knicks. No, Knicks. I have the Suns. I think they should be lower just because, like, I mean, they're basically a playing team until the last week of the season. Like, I feel like we're overrating
but
these
they've
teams,
done.
and just because they have
I
the
think
star power, like
I think
They've
their
dealt with
record.
they're
lots of
playing for a
injuries,
reason.
though.
Like, I think we have to kind of remember that. Like, these teams
Yeah,
have
but
struggled in the whole season for a reason, and they haven't undergone these big
that
in-season
wasn't
changes. But
indicative of. They had injuries all year long. They're finally healthy, and when they were
yeah,
healthy at the season, they
They
showed
want
what
their
they.
way. I agree with that. Like Phoenix is cool where they are, and like in the regular season, we saw they beat Denver a couple times. They had like
I don't.
the
Yeah,
hardest stretch in the league in like the last like
And they ran
couple
through
weeks,
it.
and yeah, exactly.
I don't
They
trust
played
the.
phenomenally. Besides like that one game against like the Clippers.
I mean, I don't trust the depth on this team. I don't trust Nurkic, as I said before, and I'll continue saying I don't trust Nurkic. He's he's kind of a matchup player, and they don't really anyone that he can like they can replace him with. Like they don't have like a counter if Nurkic is unplayable in a series. Luckily, he kind of is playable in this series against Minnesota, just because Minnesota is very big reliant, so they really need him. But I mean, if you look at the guys who were playing, they were playing pretty much a 7-man plus 10 minutes of Drew Eubanks, and Royce O'Neal, Eric Gordon.
Yeah.
Like they have a great top four, but outside of that, it gets very bad very quickly. Like unless you think Bol is gonna go insane in a series, like
They don't
it's
even
just
play.
not a good team. I just think to be a contender, you have to have the capability to win at least 3 rounds, and I don't think that Phoenix has the depth and the overall like roster construction to go that far, especially compared to like the Thunder or something, or like even Minnesota. I just think it's short-sighted in my opinion. Regardless of the talent they have.
Yeah, I think you're undercrediting their depth a little bit. I think they certainly have some serviceable players. They
Like
went
who?
and got a Royce O'Neal. They went and
Royce
Grayson
O'Neal?
Allen.
He's been struggling.
Royce
though.
O'Neal's
He's-
good.
he's-
Right?
He's
But
been struggling as of late.
well,
I
he's
don't
more of
think
a
he's
defense. You need a defense really. But
yeah, but he
Grayson
can't shoot. I mean,
Allen
Yeah,
has
he's-
been
he
one of
can shoot a
those
bit.
guys.
He just isn't that good. I mean,
Yeah,
he's been struggling
and
somewhat
then
recently.
you mix in players like Grayson Allen, who's been one of the most impressive players from the 3-point line this season. Career year for him. And I think you're undercrediting their depth a little bit. I understand it's a weak point, obviously, because you're spending all your money on your top 3 superstars. Let's be frank here. Phoenix goes as far as their top 3 stars take them. I have no problem in trusting Kevin Durant in the playoffs. I have no problem in trusting Devin Booker. But I know
Yeah, but do you?
Oh shit.
how effective will Bradley Beal be, and will all 3 of these guys be able to stay healthy and be on the floor. They've missed enough time this year where I think they'll all stay healthy, and I think that they're going to be a tough out for the teams above them, those top 3 teams above them. So
Also,
One of the other things I
I
do
still
worry about with the Suns is though is kind of like the way Devin Booker's been playing because it seems like one game he'll be like really off and then the next game he'll drop like 50. I just wish he'd be like more consistently like, oh, just drop your 27 a game instead of like this game he's gonna have like 12 on like 3 of 15 shooting opposed to like one game having like 47. Like I feel like that would just like make the Suns more like legit because then you know more what you're expecting because you know what you're getting out of Kevin Durant. You somewhat know what you're getting out of Bradley Beal because Bradley Beal has taken a step back and taken more of a playmaking role. Like he's done really good for them getting inside the paint. He's by far gotten like probably their most paint touches, creating opportunities for both the bigs and the shooters on the outside. So, but I do really like the team, and I do think they could make it at least to the conference finals.
We just saw them
Alright.
get destroyed by Minnesota like
Well, I think-
yesterday. I feel like
I mean, okay, but Alex.
All right, bro,
they
that's
just-
like one
think
game,
Frank
bro.
Vogel could
Yeah, I
hold
know,
them back
I'm just
We
too.
also
saying,
saw
like,
them destroy the
we're talking about them going to the
T-Wolves 3
finals,
times.
and like we just saw them get destroyed in the first game as the lower seed. Like, let's be
Our
real here.
team's not allowed to lose game 1.
I mean, yeah, but I'm just saying we've
Well,
seen so far they don't necessarily seem to match up great in a
so
playoff
far, it's
series.
one game.
They've had some bad losses. Like
Yeah.
if you watch
Well,
the Clippers Phoenix game, they didn't have Kawhi, they didn't have Harden, and they still they're up by like 40 at halftime.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
that
but
was
But
wild.
when you look at their ceiling, is there really anyone that you think they can't beat? I don't see anyone that
yes,
they
Denver.
can't.
And also, I
They
don't
beat
think
Denver
I don't
Who's
twice in the
guarding
regular
Denver?
season.
Who's guarding Jokic? I feel like we're
I don't-
underrating how good
Nurkic.
Jokic is.
another
What?
thing,
Why is this about Jokic? We're talking about the Suns.
Because it's about you saying the Phoenix can beat anybody in the league. No, they can't. What are we basing this off of? We're just
you
saying
base everything
shit,
off
like-
the regular season, and the
Alex,
Suns literally
Alex,
What
coming
else
proved
to
into
that
base
in
it
the
off of?
regular
What else do
season.
we have to base it off of?
Dude,
Alex, coming
they
into
beat
the
them
year.
in the regular season twice, and last year Phoenix pushed them the farthest out of any team. They pushed them to
Yeah,
6
a light
games
6
with no
And
one.
Blew them
bro.
out in game 6.
you really think
And they got
Frank
better.
Vogel can contend with all these other coaches and really
Yeah, Mike
cook
Malone.
up
Yeah,
a
exactly.
good game plan?
Yeah, it's like
Frank
saying
Vogel's
Darvin
a
Ham. Yeah, like
championship
same
coach.
thing with Darvin Ham.
Hold on.
Like-
Frank Vogel has had to deal with a plethora of injuries to not only role players but his superstars this season. He's kept the team afloat. I think Frank Vogel's done a fine job. Has he not done?
What?
Yeah, fine isn't
Has he not
good.
done
You
fine?
know what I mean?
Well, it's hard
I mean,
to do good. Your superstars haven't stayed healthy, but now they're healthy. If
Like,
coming
we've
into
seen
the year,
him. He's not necessarily the
you-
best coach, I think, in adjusting and making adjustments. That's just
I
my
mean,
opinion.
When Bradley Beal got traded to the Suns, everyone thought they were going to be a really dominant team. No one expected.
But he hasn't played.
What has changed? What has
I mean,
changed? They
yeah.
still have 3 superstars. They have more depth actually than I think we expected them to have coming into the
They have
season.
7 guys.
No, they
They're
don't
playing
have.
7 guys and Drew fucking Eubanks. Like, that's not bad.
What has changed with our opinion of Phoenix? I don't understand. Did you guys never
My
think?
I've always been low on Phoenix.
I mean,
So
I think people.
you never thought that they could win a championship with this team.
I didn't think they could beat Denver with this team. I don't think in the depth both
They're
regular
just going to
season
need
and
a lot
playoffs.
of scoring. That's their whole
Yeah,
team.
You have to out offense teams, and I don't think you can out offense Denver. Like, it's just not possible. Denver's
I
defense is too good, and their offense is
I
too
think they've beat them this regular season before, and I don't see how you can discredit a team with Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, and Devin Booker when all 3 of them show up. I mean, and they've done it. They've done it down the stretch. So I don't understand how you can completely write them off as a team that can't beat Denver. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Okay,
But
so the
You
most recent game, Nuggets didn't have Jamal Murray.
Check the one before
Um,
that. They did have Jamal Murray, and they
Yeah,
still
they
beat
did.
them.
Yeah, I'm just going through the things right now. Nuggets. Yes, the second game they didn't have him. They didn't have Jamal Murray in the preseason. That doesn't count. Okay, yeah. I mean, I think we have to just maybe. I think we just have to. You guys underrate how good the Nuggets are. I feel like
Pritch, you base everything off the regular season, and then once we show you that, the regular season is favored towards the
I'm not
Suns,
saying if
then
you
you're
watch
all
the
like,
games in the regular season,
bro.
because we can't just project these.
We
based
did
off of
watch the
nothing.
games, bro.
Yeah, and they were without Jamal Murray for 2 of the games. How can we
without-
have an
And the
accurate
game
thing?
they were
okay.
without.
They're really
They were,
Jamal Murray
one of them
dependent.
games they were without Devin Booker.
Yeah, but at the same
Yeah,
time, they
they
have him
still
in the
won.
playoffs now.
Phoenix
So
hasn't
like,
been healthy all
You
year.
can't
Alex.
base no.
They've
You
done-
can't
they've
base
done
all this
healthy.
off the regular season.
That's
I'm not. I'm
flawed.
saying yeah, but I'm basing, okay, basing off the playoffs. Nuggets won the fucking thing last year.
But the thing is, bro,
You're not
last
answering-
year,
See, I'm basing on both. I'm basing off they're amazing in the playoffs. They have an insane home court advantage. You're gonna have home court advantage over Phoenix in any series.
And
Right.
So according,
They're probably
okay,
we're
hold
not.
on.
than
We're
that.
just
They have
saying
more
like
depth.
they have the
They're better-
potential
they're
to
better
beat
at
them.
every-
Because last year they took them to 6 games, and they
according-
won in the
Guys-
regular season this
Yeah,
year,
it was-
and
they
they
got
got they
blown out in game
they
6.
basically got better this year.
So
They got blown
according
out
to-
in game 6.
According
They
to
got blown
Alex,
out in game
this year
6.
should be-
So
this year
they
should
got
be-
better this year. It still took them
No, they
6
didn't.
games.
They got dead. They were just a different
Alex,
team.
okay, hold on. Let's stop this Nuggets debate. We have to understand that this tier list is not intended to be Boston 1, Nuggets 2, 3 empty rows of tiers, and then everyone just in fun regular season.
Yeah.
Beat Denver. How does that make any sense?
No, OKC and Minnesota going to contenders. Phoenix moves
No,
down.
my gosh, dude. No way.
Ooh.
they can beat Denver. Are you serious?
Better chance of
You
Phoenix
think they
does.
have a
And also
better
they're-
chance
I
of
don't
beating
think they do.
Denver?
Okay, see,
You don't think the
yes,
Nuggets
because it's a
are gonna-
matchup thing. It's a matchup
Come
thing.
on,
That's my
dude.
reasoning. It's a
They
matchup
have
thing.
no chance.
Phoenix doesn't match up well. Who's guarding? Who's guarding
You
Jokic?
think-
Who's guarding Jokic?
Hey,
Jokic going
Alex,
for
You
no
think
one-
Chet's guarding
no one-
Jokic, bro?
Jokic,
Yes,
That's what
dude.
you're
he's,
saying.
he's a better chance because he can do some weird schematic shit
That-
against. And also,
That's
the other side
not
of the
the
bracket.
point.
different
No
side of the
one
bracket.
has been able to stop Jokic. Who
Yes,
has
but
been
they
able
can-
to stop Jokic?
Yes, but you can do a better or worse job on him. And with Jokic, you're
just
just letting
have
him get whatever the fuck he wants with Nurkic.
I think the Suns could contend because of their high output of scoring. I know you're of the opinion that you can't outscore the Nuggets. The Lakers did it for a quarter and a half, and then they just
Yeah, and
went.
he lost the whole game. Doesn't matter. Okay?
Well, let's get
Maybe
let's
he
get
lost
to
a
it.
quarter
Let's
and a
get
half.
to it. Let's
Yeah,
get
quarter
let's
and a half. They're-
All right, so let me explain this to you. I think that if either of these teams win in the first round, I think they're going to the finals.
What are you basing the Lakers one off of? Like, it's
All right, here we go.
bullshit.
Here we go. Here's what I'm basing the Lakers thing off of. You always said, "Oh, well, the Lakers can't beat the top teams in the West, whatever." All
No,
right.
I didn't say that. I just said I don't think they can win in a series back to back to back to back.
All right. Well,
what I said.
Lakers in a series versus teams this year. OKC 3-1. The Nuggets they're 0-4 against this year, including
Ah.
the playoffs. There's your team.
Nine games straight. You think we can beat them? It's ridiculous.
Minnesota.
Guaranteed at least a game 5
1-3
though.
against. Hold on. Minnesota is they're 1-3 against, but 2 of those games they didn't have LeBron. In games where they have LeBron, they're 1-1 against Minnesota. And the one loss was the one where LeBron's foot was on the 3-point line. It was a controversial loss, close loss, whatever, on the road to Minnesota. They're 1-1 with LeBron against them. Clippers 3-1. Dallas, they're 1-2. Their 2 losses to Dallas were within, I believe, the first 15 to 20 games of the season. And their
Dallas
losses
are good, yeah.
I think Dallas is good, but their losses were a combined 5 points across those 2 games. They beat Dallas by 17 in the last meeting against them. All right. Suns 3-2, Pelicans 3-1. The Lakers are 14-11 against playoff teams in the regular season. Take out Denver, they're 14-8 against everyone else in this Western Conference. I don't know
Yeah,
how you
take out the team they're playing in the first round. Yeah, take out the team they're playing in the first round. That's convenient.
That's why they're in escape round 1 because they're the 3rd best team in the league.
No,
in
they're
my
not. What are you talking? Okay, let's ignore. Okay, for the clarity for the viewers, Adam is an insane Lakers fan and a massive homer. All of his takes are biased by the fact that he will
let's
do
also get
anything
this
for
out.
LeBron if he
Alex hates on anything Lakers. Anything Lakers.
I'm a realist. I'm being realistic. I'm just saying.
Saying.
Hey,
D'Lo struggles in
listeners,
the
if you
postseason.
look
We've
closely
already
at
seen
Pitch's
him.
camera, you
D'Lo-
can see Jokic's meat in his mouth.
Okay, let's go through this. We saw last night. D'Lo continues to struggle again in the playoffs because he's such a defensive liability, and when he's guarded bad, he just.
We're gonna get to the
D'Lo
Lakers.
isn't
We're gonna get to the Lakers Nuggets game. In terms of
Okay.
having specifically the Lakers and Nuggets in this tier, I know you like the Nuggets. Do you think they should be up in favorites? And then with the Lakers, why
I
would
think
you?
Nuggets is fair, but I mean,
Okay.
I think Nuggets are in their own tier. It shouldn't be escape round 1. I think it should just be a tier between contenders and favorites. It's the
I
right
think
placement. I
honestly,
think the wrong
you should get
name.
rid of the escape round 1 tier. Put the
because I
Nuggets
feel
in
like
favorites and put
the
the Lakers in
Lakers.
contenders.
I feel like the
Put
Lakers
a lot of
pose-
teams in escape round 1.
No, but I feel like the whole point of escape round 1 is I think these are the 2 best teams in the Western Conference, and I think the Lakers pose the biggest threat to Denver. However, Denver has had their number. If the Lakers get by the Nuggets, I think
Yeah.
they're going to the finals.
They're not going to get by the Nuggets.
But
the
like
finals, they get by
the
the
thing
Lakers.
about this though, I feel like maybe not as much with Denver. I feel like the Denver and the Lakers, even after this round, they could still get knocked out by like some
They
of the
could,
contenders,
but
like
they become
Dallas, the
They
Clippers.
become the favorites.
Like that's
Are
the
This
they
is
only
not
like
the
thing.
saying
favorites in the Western
Miami.
That's why I
Conference?
don't
This is
really
okay.
like that. I don't like that entire like just tier area. I would just get
But-
rid of that. I would put Nuggets in favorites, just drop Lakers to
That's like
contenders.
saying, if Miami beats Celtics, then Miami, they can be anyone in the league. It's ridiculous.
That's not. That's saying they're the favorites in the West. Do you guys want me to just rename?
They're
this
not the
to
favorites.
in the
They're
Western
not the
Conference?
favorites they're not the best team in the West. What are you basing this off of? There's no
What do you-
no logic with any of this. Look at the stats. If you look at the stats, look, they've been very good since the trade deadline, right?
I
The thing
gave
is-
you the stats. I gave you the head-to-head.
Okay, yeah, so they beat teams. Yeah, but they had a losing record. Okay, look, in my opinion, right? I think the Lakers matchup. They don't have a perimeter defense. In my opinion, you have an old LeBron, which is like
Alex,
he's still
the
great.
Lakers don't have
No,
any
listen.
defense.
Yeah,
That's the point. They're outscoring everyone. They outscored Denver for a quarter and a half.
They couldn't sustain it because Denver is better, and any team
How
is
about
better
the
than
fact
them.
that D'Angelo Russell couldn't? We'll get to the Lakers Nuggets game.
Okay, look, listen. Here's my opinion. Okay, I don't think Lakers cannot guard anybody on the perimeter. You have D'Lo and Reeves, both of whom are somewhat like.
They
Reeves,
really need Vando back.
Yeah, and he's not coming back. Last year in the fucking against Nuggets, he barely played Vando. He played like 16 minutes a game. I think he's a big difference maker. Like he's fucking Giannis.
Well,
No,
Vando would get way more minutes in this series just because of the nature of their.
Last year he didn't because he played 16 minutes a game in this series last year.
And I'm saying this year he would because of the Lakers' increased offensive output. They need a guy that can go out there and defend. And one,
I don't think you can put Vanderbilt and
honestly
AD together, especially with LeBron.
I don't know why. I don't know why I gave it to this fight. First of all,
That's what I'm saying.
Because
I think Jackson Hayes should be getting more minutes.
Russell was in foul trouble, and Darvin Ham said they're trying different things out on Jokic
in the playoffs. You're trying different things in the playoffs.
They're 0-3. They haven't really got a fucking chance.
No, they had
know,
different.
They do something.
They have a couple different looks they're going to throw at Jokic. This was one of the looks they tried Rui on him, and AD on the lob spot with Gordon. So I don't know.
I'll never forget when Rui clamped down Jokic in that game 1, bro, for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I get if you think that the Lakers can't beat the Nuggets, but you can't tell me that the Lakers aren't better than all
Who
these
are they
teams.
guarding? You have to be able to guard somebody in the playoffs. Like, what are we basing this? It's just it's bullshit. It's just.
What do you mean? What about Alex?
Who are they
make
guarding?
the West-
Who are they guarding?
Did they beat? Huh?
Who are they guarding?
It doesn't matter.
Who's guarding Ant?
How they won
Who's
games
guarding-
down the stretch of the
Who's
season?
guarding Booker? Who's guarding Ant? If they beat the Nuggets somehow, who's guarding the rest of the? Who's guarding Shea? Who's guarding fucking Jalen Williams? Hey, who's guarding fucking? What are we? Who's guarding Josh Giddey? Like, what do they even?
All right,
do here?
bro.
Alex,
Okay.
you act like
Who's guarding Josh Giddey is crazy. Who's guarding Josh? Bro, the game plan is to not guard Josh Giddey.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
everyone's
joking,
game
but, like,
plan.
But seriously,
Why are you guarding Josh Giddey?
He can't guard teams. How can you say that?
Dude, you just gotta guard Josh Giddey from school, bro.
We gotta wrap up these
I would
How
say
do you believe this?
if their coaching was better, they could go a lot farther. They
Yes,
don't need to worry about all this defense
That
stuff.
coach's ass. You spend the whole season bitching about your coach, and you're saying, "Oh, he's good enough to get us to the finals." You're saying he's good enough to
Oh,
outcoach.
well, no, we're winning in spite of the coach. I hope you know that. This is not.
Yeah, but that's not gonna happen. That doesn't happen against like a Michael Malone or like a fucking even a Chris Finch.
Finals
Like,
last.
Even
Here's the
Vogel.
thing,
Even
boys.
Vogel outcoaches Darvin Ham. Like,
Let
let's
me tell you what's about to happen. Let me lay you a quick prediction about the series, all right?
fuck off.
No, hold on.
No,
We're
trust.
gonna get to the series right after.
Lakers
We're
are
get
gonna
to the series
win
right after.
games
Hold on.
2 through 4.
We're gonna
Drop game 5, win it in game 6 at home.
Oh, fuck off. You see, they win
right,
4 out of the next 5
hold
games.
on, boys. We're gonna get to the series.
Like,
We're past
Six.
escape round 1.
All
All right, favorites Boston. Do we all agree Boston is the favorite?
Yes.
Because of their
Yes.
path to the final. You can think Denver's better, but I think the path just makes them naturally the favorites.
That's fair. Yep.
Yeah, that's
I
fair.
agree.
We agree Boston's the favorites. All right, one last look at the tiers. We're off now. All right,
Hi, tears.
boys, back. So, saw the tiers. Overall thoughts on the tiers. Cheyenne,
suck.
you first. Let's make the
I just don't like the escape round ones here. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'd rather just get rid of like that entire like tier list and just like drop the teams in the tier, like move them up. That's what I'd rather do. I just
You're never
besides
letting,
it, like I
you're never
like
letting
the
it
way
into
you
your
set
graphic,
things
yeah.
up though. Besides that, like I don't really have too much of a problem with it.
Casey,
I would
any
just get rid of
thoughts
the
on the
escape round
tiers?
one.
It's okay. I don't say it's great, but I mean, there's a lot of questionable stuff on there.
Well, give me some.
There's a lot of bold predictions. There's stuff that I like, then there's other stuff where I'm like, it's kind of biased a little bit.
Well, there's
But, I
only
mean,
one
It's very biased.
bias.
It is biased. It's biased in the flesh.
So
Like,
that's fine.
I respect the effort. It's just you're betting high on too many teams that haven't shown enough. Personally, in my opinion. I understand the vision, but I just
But
don't think
you're
there's anything
saying
you're
you're
basing
saying
off of.
Phoenix. If I'm guessing, you're saying
Phoenix and LA. Phoenix and
are the
LA,
two teams.
and trying to remember. Yeah, Phoenix and LA are the main ones, and then for your betting too low on teams we've seen a lot from this year, like the Thunder and the Minnesota. Like you're actively.
Well, here's
It's
another.
cognitive dissonance.
Guys, this is not. I've
Okay.
said this before in the chat too. This is not a seeding. I'm not just gonna put 1
I
seed,
know.
2 seed, 3 seed,
Yeah.
and say, "Oh,
I know,
here's my."
exactly.
But you could have
We've seen
worded
them
it.
beat good
It's the
teams
NBA
this year. We've
seeding
seen
for
them
the playoffs.
beat good teams. Okay, we've seen them beat good teams.
But
It's
we've
that
also
simple to
never
me. Like,
seen them in the playoffs.
fuck you. But like,
What do you mean? Yeah, we've never seen them in the playoffs. It's true.
look, yeah. But at the same
And
time,
like
we haven't seen
we've
like
seen top seeds fall last year, but like last year we saw the 2 seed Grizzlies
that's
fall
because
in
of
the first
Jaws.
round.
That's because they had injuries and
We
shit.
saw the
Like,
3 seed also fall in the first round last year. And the Kings, and they lost to the Warriors.
okay, the
Like
Kings. Yeah,
That was just based off
the
experience.
That's-
Kings. I mean, let's be
yeah,
fair. And then
exactly.
they're playing
That's
Steph Curry
our
That was
point with
based off
OKC.
experience. I mean, yeah.
That's like OKC.
Don't remind
Based
me.
off
Wait,
experience.
don't
Exactly.
remind me of that. But like at the same time,
All
okay,
right,
that's
sit down,
a,
little
that,
bro.
that's a stupid argument though, because I feel like
How's
that's
it a stupid argument? It's what
no,
happened.
I'm saying because no team is playing Curry in the first round. They're not playing a guy that level. And then second round,
Okay,
even
in the
second round,
second
like
round,
Thunder
they'll
isn't
play
playing
Luka
a
and
guy in the level
Kawhi,
of Steph Curry.
or Kawhi, bro. In the second round, they're playing Luka or Kawhi, bro.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
well,
but yeah,
I'd
but
rather.
it's a different construction.
It's basically the same thing, bro.
Luka hasn't got it. I mean,
All
I
right,
get what you're
you
saying.
can't say
I
shit about
disagree.
Luka in the
I
playoffs.
also
Wait.
think the Kings last year were nowhere near as good as the Thunder are this year. Like there's a what 8-win difference. Then plus the league is a lot better this year in
All
the
right,
West. At least.
all right. Well, the same with the Grizzlies. They also got knocked out. They have John Morant, bona fide
Yeah, same
superstar.
thing. The league was a lot like a lot worse. I mean, Denver was a 1 seed with 53 wins. Like it wasn't.
Yeah.
Like I feel like comparing to
Also,
last
I'll
year is
say
a stupid
this.
thing.
The Western Conference is so much better than the Eastern Conference. Like,
Oh,
it's
God.
crazy how there's like, there's like 5 teams with 50 wins that are the top 5 seeds in the West. I don't even know if there's like 3 teams in the East with 50 wins.
On that,
It's
yeah,
crazy
on
how
that,
bad they are.
on that note, right now Boston's up 22-10 on
What?
the Heat.
Well,
So yeah,
Should have bet
you're not beating them in a series.
yeah, exactly. I'm just saying like for fun.
Not-
like,
not
I'm just
without my
letting you
king,
know,
Jimmy Butler, bro.
On that note,
All right. Well,
Not without my king.
we were pretty heated with the Lakers and Nuggets. Let's get
King
into
Pritchard's 3 points, just as a heads up.
thoughts on last night, Shane. I know you were watching the game. I certainly saw it a different way. I want to hear what you have to say first, and then I'll kind of follow up with.
Then I'll debunk everything.
Dude,
Cheyenne, what did you make of the game last night?
well, early, I really liked the way AD and LeBron got going early. They definitely set the way, led the tone, and even in the first half too. Like D'Lo was playing like pretty good in the first half. Sure, he wasn't like shooting like
Well, I'd say
from a distance like as well.
first quarter and a half.
Yeah,
first
right.
quarter and a
First
half.
quarter and a half. He was playing
60-20
well,
for
but
the
he was
game, but
he
yeah.
was still being pretty aggressive. Sure, his outside
I mean,
shots
he wanted
weren't
to be
falling,
aggressive.
but yeah, but I like what I saw out of our 2 big guys. Like you want AD to be aggressive, and I like the way they were playing in the first half. But in the fourth quarter, LeBron was not nearly as aggressive in the fourth quarter though. I think I saw like he only took like 1 shot until like the last minute of the game or something. Like you obviously want him to be more aggressive, and you just hope that D'Lo could shoot better. You hope Reeves could be more aggressive, and hopefully show some of what we saw throughout the end of the regular season, what we saw in the playoffs last year. That's what you hope for, and hopefully we could play a bit better defense. And Gabe Vincent and Spencer Dinwiddie could actually maybe like do anything off the bench.
Yeah,
Hopefully,
they can't. They're not good. I mean,
All right. So, watched the game yesterday. By the way, I don't think I smiled more this year than watching that first quarter and a half.
yeah, I'm glad.
If
I'm
you didn't
praying on
catch the
your
game,
downfall, Adam.
Lakers were up by 12 at one point in the game. They almost went into the half up double digits too, and then they kind of collapsed at the end. But the quarter. They almost went into the quarter up double digits. Ended up getting to 12, and then they really had a lead and kind of collapsed there in that period. Stuff I saw early was consistent play from D'Angelo Russell, as you mentioned, through that first quarter and a half, and then he couldn't exercise the demons. He 1 for 9 from the 3-point line. I'm not asking for a lot. I'm asking for like a 3 for 6 or a 3 for 7. 1 for 9.
he'll bounce back next game though. Trust.
I think
He got
there
shot
needs
plus after game 1, so he'll chill.
There needs to be a point where he realizes, and even Austin Reeves realizes, that D'Lo can't be taking shots when he's not hitting them. I mean, how can you shoot the second most shots in the team and go 6 for 20? You're not going to win.
How can you shoot the second most amount of shots when he's the fucking next to playing next to fucking AD and LeBron? I think that's the more important.
Yeah,
thing.
I
Like,
don't-
take the ball out of the man's hands.
I don't know how he got that many shots. I think that's partially on Reeves. He didn't play, I guess, horrible if you look at the box score, but he wasn't aggressive at all. I mean, this, as much as you want to say this is characteristic of the Lakers, I think the Lakers actually played uncharacteristic yesterday. If you look at Austin Reeves and how he played last year in the Western Conference Finals compared to this year, the aggressiveness was gone. It was not there last night. He got into the lane and he had opportunities to shoot floaters, maybe try and draw fouls, and he was just passing up shots. And then you look at, D'Angelo Russell's performance might have been characteristic, but Anthony Davis, the box score is not indicative of what I saw last night. Everyone's saying Anthony Davis played great. I didn't think he played good. Anthony Davis was lazy. He was uncharacteristic on the offensive end. There was no passion from him. You look at the box, he shot 4 3-pointers. When has Anthony Davis decided that he wants to be a 3-point shooter all of a sudden? I haven't
Yeah,
seen,
this is not 2020, bro.
I don't know where this has come from. Anthony Davis has not been a 3-point shoot. This is not 2020. I mean, he's out
I
here
just said that, yeah.
in the fourth quarter. Like what is going on with this guy? And then on the defensive end, there's possessions where he'll miss a shot and he's walking back. He's walking back at the end of the game. He was walking back on defense. That's unacceptable. There's possessions where early in the game, Rui needs help on a curl where I believe it was Jokic. It was or Aaron Gordon. Someone was coming off a screen, and AD's just standing there like a rock. It's a free dunk for the Nuggets. Anthony Davis on the defensive end, not getting back on defense, forcing Austin Reeves to have to guard Jokic. I mean, what are we doing here? It's a complete lack of effort. It's a complete embarrassment to the organization that a guy like this is not giving full effort in the playoffs. It's unacceptable. I mean, as much as, you want to say that this is on par with what the Lakers have been against the Nuggets, it's still uncharacteristic of what they've been all season. And they need to get back to what's made them great this season. And it's partially on the leaders of the team. LeBron James, as you mentioned, Cheyenne, no shots in the fourth quarter until the last 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Played great through the first 3 quarters, but you want to sit up here and I guess try and get your teammates involved. That was not, the time to do that. I don't think he was gassed. He might have been gassed. He played 41 minutes. Might have been a little.
It's a lot of minutes.
I still think that he was trying to get his teammates going. I don't know if he's trying to play the long game in this, but the Lakers don't have a lot of time. I think game 2 is going to be a critical game for them to try and win if they want to go on and win this series. So, the defense.
I'll give my thoughts now. Hold on. Okay.
I don't think they're going to solve the defense. I know you're going to bring up the defense. I don't think they're going to really do much to solve that. They can try and limit Jokic, but I'm more concerned with the offensive end and their collapse, because if they would have just kept the way that they were playing offensively throughout the whole game, they would have won that game regardless of what Denver did offensively on their side of the ball. So I think they were uncharacteristic of themselves. At the end of the day, we still have to remember they were up 12 at one point in this game. I don't get the
They were
notion.
down by 14 at one point, like 26-point swing.
But it wasn't like Denver dominated them the whole game. I mean, the Lakers showed they can compete with Denver. They've showed last
For a quarter, yeah.
I feel like many of the games they at some point, like the Lakers,
There's so
take the
many
lead,
games,
and then they always blow it. But I think
Denver's
always
sensitive
blow the
level.
lead.
here's my big point. I think the Lakers just need to get one before they can start ripping off a few wins against Denver, because I think there's a point where they need to get the monkey off their back. At this point right now, they're at a point where it's hard to envision them beating Denver because they've never done it. It's where,
Yeah.
like,
What makes you think they can?
but if they're able to
You don't
get
think they can beat them at all? Like,
I think
one?
They haven't beaten them in
Alex,
2 years now?
Alex, here's my thing. I think the
One
confidence
whole year.
of guys like D'Lo and Reeves go up once you get a win against the Denver and prove that we can actually do this. I think they've
So
been.
what makes you think they can actually like? I'm just
No,
saying.
we
there's not much to
need
go off of
D'Lo
here.
to play better. Like, that's what I'm
Okay,
saying.
can I share my thoughts real quick?
Well, here,
No,
let me
I'm
finish
playing.
because I think it's demoralizing when you're close and you know that you've competed with these guys not only through quarters but through games, and you just come up just short every time because of little mistakes and playing uncharacteristic. So
That's the playoffs.
I think the Lakers can still do it, but I mean they got to get back to what has made them great down the stretch of the season, and they got to hope that they can get some stops at the end of games. But Alex, Chico, and I know the Lakers fans have rambled on a bit, but
yeah. Okay. So in my opinion, if the Lakers had any chance of winning the series, they had to win Game 1 just to get the momentum, get the home court advantage. Especially because they played well against New Orleans, so maybe that could have given them a little boost. But no, it didn't. Lakers, it wasn't. So my biggest problem, I think, is that in days like this where D'Lo's struggling, he played 41 minutes, right? We have no backup guard they can go to, like that they can really trust. They've Dinwiddie and Vincent, but both those guys should not be getting minutes. Like they preferably would not be getting minutes, right? Gabe Vincent's been struggling all year. He's been hurt the whole year. Dinwiddie has been asked the whole year, and then even on the Lakers, he struggled. And he's not a playoff player. He's a guy you don't really want to put him in a playoff series just because he's he needs the ball in his hands, and you don't want to take the ball out of LeBron's hands or AD's hands or even Reeves' hands, right? So that's the biggest problem is that you're having to rely on D'Lo so much, and that when he's not producing offensively efficiently, he's in completely nothing on defense. So he's dead weight pretty much, and that's my biggest problem with this team. He can't really adjust. Like you could put Prince in there for D'Lo, but like that's a really weird match.
Torian Prince actually played pretty well.
Yeah, and he's good, but I think you don't want to play him in like the 2 or something, right? He's a wing. He's a wing, and I think like they don't have that backup guard they can go to. He did play well. I'll give you credit. I was impressed with him, but he was the only guy on the bench who scored. Like, I think we're so every time we talk about the Lakers, talking about how good AD and LeBron are. They produced numbers yesterday. Like they put up the stats they needed to. They just needed the supporting cast to do so, and I don't know if they can. I think the supporting cast is weak, and I think I've said it the whole year about D'Lo. Like he's a guy great in the regular season. In the playoffs, he struggles. When there's pressure on him, he struggles. I don't know why. When there's no pressure on him in the regular season, he performs, and he's able to put up these great numbers. We've seen it throughout his career, and I'm not saying he's like a choker or anything. I'm just saying like there's a pattern that we have to kind of recognize with the Lakers here, and also like Lakers had a lot of advantages in this game too. Like they had 13 more free throws. They made 12 more. That's something that
I will say.
I know. That's fine. Like it's gonna happen, and that's a good thing for the Lakers.
No,
I'm not saying it's not fair, but
I actually think that they were. It was weird. They started the game. They were calling a lot for Jokic, and then they kind of tapered off a little bit in the second or third quarter, but they weren't really calling a lot of fouls actually during this game. I think they were really letting.
Okay, Nuggets shot 6 free throws the whole game.
No, but I'm saying there were a lot of on the ground. There were a lot of on the ground fouls on the Lakers when Jokic.
Yeah,
was
and that doesn't hurt the Lakers, does it? Like those are kind of the harmless. Like I mean, obviously it's not great, but like 6 free throws the whole game that's Lakers need to be more physical, don't they? I mean, that's the main thing. And like the thing is, but every time there's a foul call, you're gonna bitch about it and be like, oh, the rest from Jokic to win.
I think the key to this series is definitely D'Angelo Russell though. Like the Lakers were at their best this season when he went crazy at post break, and they just need him to like
with no pressure on him. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, and they just need him to like get to like somewhat of that level, or just be like somewhat consistent, a reliable 3-point shooter, reliable off the dribble, pick and roll play.
Okay, I have a couple more things real quick. I want to add to this.
And here's the thing, bro. I don't really think it's like the guard play dude. I've been talking, bro. Let me talk.
No, because you interrupted. Okay, I'm saying I have 2 more points that I think you can actually it'll help you. I just want to give my thoughts real quick.
Okay.
And then the second part is that the altitude is a really big part of this too, where you talking about 39-year-old LeBron having to play in this altitude, it's going to have an effect on him, right? Compared to like the younger guys. And the Lakers are a very old roster in comparison to like the Nuggets or other teams in the playoffs. That's something that has to be accounted for as well. And there's one more thing I was going to say, and I forgot what it was. Altitude's a big thing. But like for me personally, the Lakers have to play 100% every game to have a chance of winning. And I don't think you can expect that 4 out of the next 6 games. And for them to win too. Like it has to be a perfect storm for them to win a game. I don't think it's going to happen 4 out of 6 times, personally.
And like you mentioned earlier, you said like, oh, we need better guards coming off the bench. I don't really think it's like the guards that's the issue, because like even if we did have like better guards off the bench, we'd be like playing like a 3-guard lineup like half the game or something. I'd rather have like instead of like Dinwiddie or like Gabe Vincent, just like solid wings. Like
Then who goes
like
in? Okay, so if D'Lo struggles, who goes in for D'Lo?
even
But
then,
you can't have
Austin
D'Lo
Reeves,
if he's not playing
Austin
off
Reeves
the-
likes handling the ball a lot.
Alex,
He's pretty
I
ball
think if
dominant.
D'Lo-
LeBron's pretty ball dominant.
Who goes
I
to the
don't think
two?
I don't think you need him to win.
Who
I
goes
think
to the
if
two?
they lose.
Who subs into the game for D'Lo? Because I don't think
No,
D'Lo should be out there if
that's
he's
why
not
I'm saying like
scoring.
I wouldn't
because-
have a rather instead of like Gabe Vincent or like Dinwiddie, I'd rather have a wing or something.
Well,
you
let's
So
know?
you want to
let's
put
get this out here
like
too.
4 wings, like play
Huh?
Hachimura at the 2 or something, like who be at the 2 then? If you have Austin Reeves is the 1, right?
Okay.
LeBron isn't a point. He can't guard point guards obviously, so he'd have to play the 4 or 3 still, right?
Yeah.
Who's going to the 2 for D'Lo? Like there needs to be like you can't have
Probably
D'Lo in the game.
the
You
Max
can't-
Christie. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah, great. Max Christie, the rookie. Let's trust him.
Cam
in the playoff
Reddish.
series against the defending champions. Yeah, exactly.
Well, Alex, I think it would actually be interesting if they try to go to a big lineup, a huge lineup of you have Rui out there at the 2, and then you mix in
Oh,
Jackson.
come on. Jackson
I mean-
Hayes? Okay, you want to put... Okay, if it was Taurean Prince, makes sense. Jackson Hayes, you're putting 2 non-shooters on the court, and then you're asking LeBron, who's
Well,
best skills,
apparently
to the
Anthony
basket.
Davis wants to be a 3-point shooter.
Yeah,
so
but he
I mean,
can't.
I-
They're not going to
I
guard
don't
him. They
know
didn't
what's
guard him
going
at the
on.
three-point
Jackson
line.
Hayes gives
I
you
think
like
he's
energy.
gonna shoot him. We
Yeah,
might
he's
as
like,
well.
I like Jackson
Yeah,
Hayes.
Jackson.
If it
I
was
like
against
I like
Minnesota.
when Jackson Hayes played.
Yeah, I agree. If it was Minnesota, he'd be a perfect fit, I think. He'd be a great fit for this series. But I just think this series, you want him instead of AD when AD needs a break and you need just energy on the boards. That's why he should be playing more than 4 minutes. He should be playing region to 10 or something. Like, I like him. But
Oh
like,
my god!
I just think he can't play in the.
Guess,
he can't
guess
play
who's
next to him.
returning to the lineup in Game 3 on the Lakers?
I saw
Christian
Vanderbilt?
Wood.
lay the wood.
Oh, he's not playing. But fuck off. He's not doing anything. Okay? he's like the worst playoff player ever. He's like D'Lo is a big, but like not good. That
I
makes
totally
sense. He's like he
forgot
thinks
about-
he's
I
D'Lo.
totally forgot about Christian Wood.
All right.
Yeah,
all
me
right,
too.
all right. Getting,
Just say
getting back to your overall point. Does anyone here think that the Lakers have not saying they will have a chance of beating the Nuggets in a 7-game
No.
series? Alex
Not
says
anymore.
no. You think they have a chance of beating the Nuggets? Is
I
it
think
within
I think the Lakers have a chance.
Giant thinks they
I,
have
d-
a
I do think though Game 2 is very important though. Like it's like a board. It's basically like I feel like it's a must win kind of.
Can they win in Denver at all though? Are we sure they can win in Denver?
Well, here
Because he
That's
has
what I'm
to.
saying. It's like a must.
if
Yeah,
the
you have
Lakers-
to at least win once.
if the Lakers were to win every game in LA, which I mean that's a big if. If they were to win every
they're
game,
guaranteed to win at least Game
Then-
4 though.
then
know.
they get to Game 7 in Denver. You can't tell me you wouldn't be a little bit nervous with a LeBron-led team in Game 7.
A
even-
Jokic-led team, I think, is better personally. At this stage of
But-
this stage of LeBron's career,
But
I
isn't
think a
there,
Jokic
isn't there a
team is more.
possibility? Did you not? LeBron
I trust
is
the role
Look
players
at
more
LeBron's
too.
history, bro.
unbelievable.
A game
Look at
7
LeBron's
is based
history
on
in
role
Game 7.
players and the guys around the stars. The stars are always going to
I mean,
produce. It's always about the guys around
It's
them.
not like LeBron is like majorly regressed. I mean, you act
He
like
hasn't. LeBron is not
Yeah.
falling
Like,
off.
he's never
still
fallen off
39.
at
Like,
all.
you can't expect him to.
I
Yeah,
don't-
he's a
I
top 15 player in the NBA.
But you always
Jokic
said
is the
we
best
can't
player by
expect
far.
him to
He's
do
more
this.
than a
We
top.
can't
He's like a
expect him
top
to do
10
this, but he
player, not
does
a
it.
top
No,
15.
Hey, I put it in the group chat. We talked about it. I listed out 10 guys that are having a series in LeBron, and I
You're
stick to that
wrong. You're
list.
wrong about like at least 3 of them.
No, it was a good list. We'll talk about it
wasn't.
another time on the pod. But like,
All right. The
Okay,
point is. I
Jokic's
don't
the best
think
player in the
you
league by
can say
far. He's the
You
best player
can't
in the league
say
by
that-
far. Can't argue that. You tell me you wouldn't have the best player in the league by far over LeBron?
Is like,
But
Because
you
I
wouldn't
don't-
have
this
like
is just homer. You're
arguably
just
the
being a
greatest
homer at this
player of all
LeBron's the
time
second
on it.
greatest player of all time.
Arguably, like
Bro, fuck off.
no, I said arguably you wouldn't rather have that.
No, you'd rather have the best player in the league by far. This is like picking Kobe in like 02 over Jordan on the
no, I
Wizards.
get what you're saying. No, you
Like-
pick Jokic over
All right,
LeBron.
no, bro, you can't compare this LeBron to Jordan on the
You-
Wizards.
you
I'm
would
not.
be-
I'm just saying, like, for an example, like that's just
Alex.
because he's the greatest player doesn't mean he's better than that guy right now.
But all I'm saying is you wouldn't be a little bit nervous with
Of
LeBron.
course, it's a game
So
7.
you're
of course,
saying
I'm
there's a
not,
chance.
but
You're
they're not
saying-
winning in LA. I don't think they're winning every game in LA either. I just think you can't.
I don't know if they will. I don't know if they will. I think the Lakers probably have to win this in 7 after losing.
Yeah,
game
of course.
No, they're gonna win games 2 through 4. Lose
Fuck
game
off,
5,
Cheyenne.
6,
No,
bro. I'm telling
stop
you.
talking.
This is my prediction.
All right,
Bro,
all right.
please.
No, if that
Let's get
actually
off the-
happens, though, you gotta clip that, bro. This is
Let's
my
get-
Goofy
let's-
Goober, bro.
This is
Let's
my
get,
daddy's
let's
home
get
movie.
off of the Lakers here. I think we've exhausted the
Nuggets in 5,
Have
I
to-
think. Nuggets in 5.
Giant. Do you have to head out or?
Yeah, look, you gotta go right now.
All right.
Okay, well,
Well,
okay,
All right, have a good
predictions real
pod.
quick. Oh, okay.
we'll
All
finish this out without Cheyenne here.
All right,
But
love you,
Cheyenne,
Cheyenne.
wait, Cheyenne, who you got in the Mavericks and Clippers series, and then who do you
Mavs.
have winning the finals?
All right, in the Mavericks Clippers series, I have the Mavericks winning. Sorry, Casey, you just don't know about Kawhi's health and all that. But winning the final.
Give me your finals matchup. Finals.
All right, my finals matchup. Dude, I don't want to say Boston. I just don't. Like Okay, I'll say Boston, and then I'll say
You said the fucking
I'll
Lakers.
say-
He wants to say the Lakers so
no,
bad.
all right. I won't pick the Lakers next. I'll say the Mavericks.
Okay.
I'll say the Mavericks.
He's got the Lakers on the Nuggets on the Mavericks.
I'm just being different right now. I ain't
All
about to
right.
be
No,
like,
you know,
Thank you for your
Celtics
picks,
Nuggets.
Cheyenne.
I'm gonna make things interesting, you know.
All right. I like it.
All right, have fun at
But
work.
like, I do hope the Lakers though. I would want.
Get a
Fuck it,
brain
give me the
gang.
Lakers over Celtics. Give
Fuck
it to
off.
me. Actually, Lakers over Celtics. Give it to me. All right, see y'all boys. Good
All
seeing
right,
you,
bye, I
Casey.
love
Love
you.
you, boy.
Goodbye.
All right. So just us three boys now. Let's talk about the Clippers Mavericks here coming up here in about an hour.
Yep.
I think this is my most anticipated series of the first round outside of Lakers Nuggets, obviously. But I think this is a really close matchup here when Kawhi's on the floor. When Kawhi's out, not on the floor, it's kind of I think Dallas probably has that in 6 games, 5 or 6. So, Casey, I don't know how you're feeling about this series, but I'd be very nervous, especially with Kawhi's health so far coming into the playoffs.
I mean, you read all these reports, like literally earlier in the week, like Ty Lue said, oh yeah, expecting him to play. All the reports say he's expected to play. And then another day it's like, oh, now we don't expect him to play, or he's questionable, or he's dealing with this, he's dealing with that. And now a report I read this morning, he's probably not going to play game 2. He might not play game 1. So, I mean, it's really frustrating to read all this, hear all this, because, like I said, it happens every single year. So, I don't know if they can really win a 7-game series. I think it's definitely possible without Kawhi. They definitely have the star power. I mean, James Harden's obviously going to have to take more shots. I think he can handle it.
We've seen James Harden do it before. He did it last year for Philly for 1 game. I don't know.
Yeah, and he sucked. Yeah, he was awful.
I mean,
but if you need like a 1 or 2 game, like James, we need you for this game or whatever.
And then he falls apart, yeah.
I don't
can
think
do it.
he's
He's done it before.
He's not going to drop 40 points or anything, but he can have those games where he can start making shots, get hot a little bit. You have guys like Westbrook that can get hot. Norman Powell can get hot. Seen him do it before.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, other than that, they also, like I said, they have a lot of depth. They have a lot of guys that can defend anybody.
So we've seen what you've thought about the Clippers, but on the other side, I think Dallas is a really good team coming into this playoffs. They're obviously really hot. What do you make of them matching up against the Clippers, and how you think that they'll fare in a 7-game series against the Clips?
Well, first of all, people don't realize everyone says this about like Luka Doncic owning the Clippers, all this and that. He's 0-2 against us in the playoff series. So I wouldn't say like he owns us or whatever. He can score all the points he wants. If we win those games, we win those games.
Yeah.
There was a lot of instances when that Maverick series, I mean, it was a wild series. I mean, we were down 0-2, came back 2-2, and we trailed 3-2. We lost all 3 of our games at home, and then won our last 2. Which is kind of crazy, but Clippers have shown when their backs are against the wall, they can still perform at a very high level. They've shown it before. They've shown it years before. They just have to stay healthy. That's literally the only thing. I mean, there was a stretch in the season, like after they got James Harden, after they started 0-6 to them. They were probably they're the best team in the NBA. Fully healthy, they were the best team in the NBA for about 2 months. It turned everything around. They were the 1 seed in the West.
It was like, can anybody beat the Clippers in the West, where they were on a roll.
Yeah, they were like major favorites. And then
It was what the Harden streak where it was like, oh, this isn't gonna fit, whatever, and then the Clippers just tear off like
it just went crazy.
he wins it in the
I
2 month
think
period.
James Harden's offense fell off a little bit. I think the major deciding factor why they fell off a little bit was because Russell Westbrook. He had that hand injury, and that kind of messed them up for a little bit. But as of recently, they've been playing really well. I mean, yeah, that Suns game kind of defined like they can win without their stars. But I mean, they've had a lot of good wins this season. I mean, they had that 26-point comeback against the Cavs. You see Paul George like just going crazy, just breaking ankles, doing all that type of stuff. I think also James Harden can be a really good playmaker too. If you watch like those games, like those pick and rolls, Zubac are deadly. I think guarding Luka, guarding Kyrie, that's going to be tough. I hope Ty Lue just has a good game plan for that. And we have defenders that can guard those guys. It's just going to depend on how it's going to work and how hot they really get, because they have role players that can get hot.
Yeah, Alex, what do you make of the kind of matchup between the Clippers and Mavericks in terms of personnel and how they match up at each position?
Yeah, Zubac is he's a big an X factor as well. Where they can keep him on the court. I think they can in the series just because of you have Lively again going against Lively, Gafford. I guess they go small with PJ Washington as well if they wanted to, or Kleber. But I think that's a big factor. What they really need is defense and rebounding inside. That's a key thing. And I think for the Clippers, it's just getting healthy games out of all their players and getting just hoping Harden doesn't fall off a cliff like he usually does, and just trying to keep them all together and regain how they were playing in the quarter, at the quarter mark of the season when they really turned things around. But yeah, Dallas has been amazing recently. That's the thing with Dallas. I think they've been in such a good place since the trade deadline. They've been playing really amazing basketball. The role players have really stepped up. Guys like Dante Exum, who were he was a really kind of forgotten about pickup at the start of the season from Europe, but he's really good, and I think he's kind of he's getting to another level. He's helping push this team along the other role players to really be a legitimate contender, in my opinion. As we talked about earlier, but I think that in a series against the Clippers, it really comes down to who's healthy and who's just playing better, right? Who's just playing better on the night, who's just getting these tough games out. I think Luka's the best player in the series. So I think it's Dallas in 7 personally, just because I think I trust Luka a little bit more than an injured Clippers team or a Clippers team that's struggling. But it's a real toss-up. I think he go either way. It really depends on injuries and how each person kind of plays. And yeah, on God, bro. What do you think, Casey? What's your prediction?
I got the Clippers without Kawhi. I'm gonna be biased. I'm gonna say Clippers in 7. With Kawhi, I would say they win in 6. I just think they were so dominant at one point. I don't think they can fall off that hard. The team is just they haven't really. I wouldn't say they've really fallen off. I mean, there was ever since Ty Lue, there was a stretch where they were pretty bad after. I think it was called the Grammys run, where after the Grammys they were just sucked. And then Ty Lue said we're soft, all this type of stuff, and he really started to turn it around. I mean, they really ended the season on a really good note, beating Phoenix and securing that 4 seed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think they're coaching wise. I mean, I think Ty Lue's a way better coach than Jason Kidd.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't hate Ty Lue as a coach. He does some stuff I don't really like. But yeah, I think the Clippers are just more of a deeper team, although they're kind of older. I think they still have a better chance of beating them, especially with the home court advantage that they have. But yeah, that's what I had to say.
So you think Kawhi is it one game it's a one game?
These first 2
difference?
games are going to be really defining for the Clippers because there's no really stability in Kawhi. You don't know if he's going to play or if he's not. I think if they can win at least 1, I'll be happy. There's a
Mhm.
chance they could. I don't think they're gonna win two, but if they do win two, they have a really good chance. But oh, what the hell? Yeah. Where did Adam go, bro?
His audio went out. He just told me. But it's okay. We can work this
All
out.
right.
Yeah. Okay. I'm trying
Um,
to find. So apparently, so since the All-Star break, the Clippers' offense has been fourth in the league, and their defense has been. I have to scroll to find it. They've been in the middle. They've been 16th in the league,
yeah.
which obviously isn't
I don't
not
think
great.
their defense has
Bad.
been. It's not good.
Yeah.
They put like if you look at their scores of like every single game, it's. I'm pretty sure like Clippers have to score more than like a 110 every single game to win. It's kind
Yeah.
of like. I mean, when you look at these games, like they shouldn't be allowing 118 to the Hornets, or they shouldn't
Yeah,
like
for
be
sure.
allowing 133 to the Pacers or anything like that. They've had
Yeah.
some games where I'm like, what the hell are they doing? But other than that, like I said, they have
Okay.
the pieces to win. They have.
Yeah.
If this was like just any other team without Kawhi, this could be a championship contender team. I mean, you still have Paul George.
So do you think do you have them in the finals? Do you think? Let's give our finals predictions real quick.
Finals.
Do you have them?
I mean, I really don't see like any. I don't know, because these teams are like. There's really no like. What's it called? How would I say? There's no like team that's like really like a decider. Like, there's no like favorite really, other than the Nuggets. There's like a certain team that can like pull away. Which I think why the Clippers can actually make a run here. This is really their time to really like win a championship. They went all in this year.
Okay, so you had the Clippers in the finals.
I the Clippers.
Okay, so you think they're gonna win the finals?
Yeah, I think it could be Boston.
Wow.
So is that your prediction?
Well,
is that your your
okay.
dream?
Okay, here's the thing.
Let's be real.
I agree. I agree. I think the mentality in the building is kind of finals or bust. They've gone all in. They've gone all in for the past few years. It hasn't really panned out. And I think a point we brought up earlier was this result in the playoffs might affect how they approach, these upcoming off seasons, especially with Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. Of maybe eventually the experiment's over. And you got to break these two up, find a new running mate for one of them, and move on to the new arena with a new star player. But I do think that the Clippers are kind of in that mentality of this is it. This is a chance for us to make one final push. I do like the side of the bracket that they're on, avoiding Denver, the Suns, the Lakers, Minnesota, all those teams.
Yeah, they only got to play them or OKC.
Yeah, I mean, I think they would beat OKC with a healthy Kawhi Leonard. I don't know if Alex agrees, but I would pick them to win. I can't pick them against the Mavericks because I don't know with Kawhi, and that's kind of been the story of the Clippers. You really don't know what's going on in that building with Kawhi Leonard or Paul George, and it's sad because we never really got to see the full Clippers team. Who knows if they had a healthy?
I think they've really only had one playoff run. Where their full team
was weren't they hurt that year, right? I'm trying to remember.
Kawhi Leonard was not there.
They've had 1 year where they like actually were fully healthy, and they almost made it to the Western Conference Finals.
I mean, they blew a 3-1
lead.
They had
a 3-1 lead against the Nuggets, but their team.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, Doc Rivers is a horrible coach. I don't think he's a horrible coach. Everyone knows that. What else did I say? Their team chemistry that year was horrible. Paul George was
lemon pepper Lou.
Had a lot of problems with that team. But I mean, I think this is the most team chemistry this team has had. They have those certain guys. Like, last year, the year they went to the Western Conference Finals, their second best player was like Reggie Jackson. I mean, I love bro, but like for them to
Jackson now an important player on the Nuggets now.
Yeah,
like if you really watched him play, like he was going crazy against them. But I mean, he shouldn't be second best player, especially going into the Western Conference Finals. I mean, in the end, the Suns were just too much for them. But now they really have the pieces where even if you say, oh, Kawhi is out or oh, Paul George is out, they still have a chance because they still have that big three and they still have that deep team that can still make a run.
You know, it's interesting. On paper, the Clippers really should be one of the favorites in the Western Conference.
Yeah,
I mean,
if you told someone in 2017 that the Clippers would have Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, James Harden, you would think they're the greatest team.
I mean, they have a really talented top.
He's out for the game today. Kawhi's out for game 1.
Yeah. Well, I figured
He's
for
ruled out.
game. I think early in the series, probably games 1 and 2, he's for sure out. And then I don't know going forward. But it's interesting. They have a top 3 that's comparable with any team in the league, really, maybe outside of Phoenix. But, I mean, they're still pretty comparable with them. And then they have the depth to match it. So I think their coaching is fine as well with Ty Lue. It's just it's these injuries, man, that are really hampering them. You know, I can't trust Kawhi Leonard to get back on the floor, and I can't trust this Clippers team to get past Dallas. So, Casey, I know you have them in the championship. Let's get to some finals predictions now. Who do you have them playing in the Western Conference Finals? And then go over to the East there, and then give us your finals matchup.
So for my Western Conference Finals, I think as much as Pritch likes Denver, I think Timberwolves are going to make the finals, or not the Western Conference Finals. They're going to play the Clippers. That series is going to be close, but it haven't been 6. I want to do the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah.
I have to look at the bracket. I definitely think what's it called? The Celtics are going to be in there, and then I think I would say the Knicks too. I would have a 1-2 matchup in the Eastern Conference Finals. That series, I think the Knicks are going to show a lot of heart. They're going to come out, really push the Celtics to the limits. I think it's going to go to 7, but I think Boston has that. In the finals,
Boston Clippers.
The Boston Clippers. You already know who I'm taking. I would say usually every finals is like 6 to 7 games. So I would say like Clippers in 6.
All right, Clippers in 6 for the finals. Alex,
All right.
before you go.
So
I received a little birdie. I received a text message here that says Lakers in 6 over Boston. Braun wins finals MVP and becomes the undisputed from Cheyenne right after he left.
I don't think that's happening. I think that's he knows what he's doing. He's trying to get a rise.
He changed his pick to the Lakers versus Celtics.
That's not gonna happen. Okay.
It's 6 over Boston.
If that happens, I'll do a pod naked.
Whoa.
Yeah, don't worry. I'll keep it above the chest. But what was I gonna say? So my predictions in the East, again, I agree. I think it's Celtics Knicks. Celtics take care of them in like 5 or 6. I think that's not really just too much talent discrepancy. Unless Jalen Brunson goes batshit crazy. But then the West, I have Nuggets and I think OKC. I have OKC. I think OKC is going to get to the conference finals. I think Nuggets will take care of them pretty easily. And then we're going to have an insanely good Nuggets-Celtics series. I think Nuggets in 7. That'll be a finals for the ages, perhaps. So, that's my predictions. I think Nuggets said I don't see them losing, quite frankly. I'm gonna be glazing all over Jokic if that happens. I'm gonna be giving him a good time, you know.
All right.
Wait, you said Celtics or Nuggets in 7?
Nuggets winning in 7.
Nuggets, okay. All right, let's start with the East. I genuinely don't think Boston will lose a game until the Eastern Conference Final. I think they will go. They'll beat both the teams they play in the first 2 rounds, and then I think they might beat New York in 5, maybe 6. I don't know. I think they're going to run through the Eastern Conference. New York, I think, is kind of the team by default because of Philly's injuries. I actually think Philly, with a healthy Embiid, would knock them off, but we obviously saw how he looked when he came out of the game and came back. Wasn't the same. So I got New York winning that series. Can't trust Milwaukee. I'm still intrigued by them with a healthy Giannis, but Giannis isn't healthy, so I can't pick them.
Tons of great players to guard Giannis with, like Anunoby. They're the good defensive bigs. You know, it's just but go ahead. Sorry.
So I got New York playing Boston. Boston winning in like 5 and going to the finals. So I have Boston losing 1 game before they go to the finals. And then on the West side, starting at the top, I think the Mavericks do beat the Clippers, basing this off of Kawhi not being healthy. I think they take care of OKC in like 6. I don't think that series goes to 7. I think they take care of the Clippers in 5 to 6, depending on when Kawhi comes back, or if he even comes back. And then we get down to the bottom. Now, I know if I say the Lakers, it'll obviously be biased.
Yeah, so don't say it.
There's a conflict of interest here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say Nuggets/Lakers.
Nuggets slash.
I'm going to avoid the bias. I'm going to avoid all that. And I'll just say winner of that series goes to the Western Conference Finals. They play Dallas. I think both of those teams are better than any other team in the Western Conference. Winner of the Nuggets-Lakers series plays Boston in the finals. And as much as I don't want to pick Boston, bias can't hold me back from picking this team. I think Boston is by far and away the most talented. They have the best depth. They're going to have the easiest road, so they'll be the most well-rested. I mean, think about it. They're going to play what, like?
Pretty fair, yeah.
They're going to play what? Like, they're – I don't know. Like,
playing like 5, 6 games probably, at least.
Like, if they sweep everyone, they'll play 12, 13 games before they, get to the final.
It's a good take, yeah.
Where everyone else has to go through – even though I said the Lakers and Nuggets are better than everyone else, they're still going to have to go through a harder gauntlet. They're going to have to sweep everyone. They might have to go to 6 or 7 games one series, but I think Boston will stay healthy. Their depth is, questionable past a certain point, but at the top through, I'd say like 8, no one's better, and it's not even close. Their starting lineup has 5 players that on other teams might be a second or third option, So I don't see how they lose. I really don't. Maybe the reliance on 3-pointers comes back to bite them a little bit, but
yeah,
so good at every spot. It's really hard for me to pick against them. At this point, it's can Tatum get the monkey off his back and do it? Can he be the leader of this team?
Yeah.
He's not going to have to carry on, the whole load. He's got teammates around him. But when they need him most in the clutch, can Jason Tatum step up, be the guy in a pivotal series like the finals? I think he gets it done. I think the Celtics, unfortunately, regain their lead of the titles, whatever. And the Celtics are your 2024 NBA champions. That's going to do it. Long episode today.
very long episode.
But it was the playoffs, so we had to go extra long today. Pause.
Thank you, Mr. Coonan, for joining us today. It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you. Appreciate
Casey,
y'all having me
joining,
here. First special guest on Before the Buzzer.
Maybe
You made it today.
Maybe we'll bring you on when the Clippers inevitably trade Kawhi Leonard or Paul George this offseason because they lost. But thanks for joining us, Casey, for Cheyenne, and the rest of the boys. We thank you for watching episode 11 of the Before the Buzzer podcast. Make sure to tune in next week for more post-series reactions. Those series will be wrapping up in the first round. Maybe some more live stuff too soon because your boy's coming back home. So maybe more live collabs here. But anyways, make sure to follow us on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter.
Spotify.
Spotify, I meant to say. Maybe we should. But anyway, YouTube, Instagram, Spotify. Thanks for watching for all the boys here. Enjoy your playoff weekend. And tune in next week. All right. See y'all.
Bye.
Bye.